Before we get into the episode, I am thrilled to announce that the EntreMD Business School is open for enrollment. The EntreMD Business School is the only school of its kind for physicians who want to build 6, 7, and multiple 7-figure businesses. Over the last 2 years, we have had hundreds of doctors go through the school with unbelievable results. Some of them run brands, some of them run private practices, some of them are coaches, some have other kinds of service-based businesses or product-based businesses. And we've had people come in and cross the 6-figure milestone, cross the 7-figure milestone, cross the multiple 7-figure milestone. You will be in a place where you'll get the coaching, the community, the accountability that you need to thrive as an entrepreneur, especially in the times that we're in. So maybe you've been following me for a while. Maybe you've been getting so much out of the EntreMD podcast and you've been wondering, how can I work with Dr. Una and the community more? Well, this is your chance. Come join us in the EntreMD Business School. It is application only. So go to entremd.com/business to turn in your application. I cannot tell you how many doctors have made statements like this. I recovered my investment in the first week. I recovered my investment in my bank account in the first 90 days. This is the best investment I've made in myself ever. I want you to have that kind of story, not just a story of building a great business that serves a lot and earns a lot, but having a business that gives you the freedom to live life on your terms. So don't wait any longer. entremd.com/business. And now for the episode. Hi, docs. Welcome to the EntreMD Podcast, where it is all about helping amazing physicians just like you embrace entrepreneurship so you can have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on your terms. I'm your host, Dr. Una. Well, welcome back, docs, to another amazing episode of the EntreMD Podcast. I have been looking forward to this episode because I have been wanting to share the 5 powerful lessons I learned from hosting EntreMD Live. Now, if you don't know about it, EntreMD Live is our annual event. This year, 2020, we had our second one. It was virtual for obvious reasons. And I grew so much in the process. You know, I teach all the time about how the growth, the change, the transformation, it happens in motion. It happens as you take action. And I experienced the very same thing. And I want to share those lessons with you. And my hope is that it would inspire you and set you up to say yes to some things maybe you've been putting on in your life and in your business so you can take everything to the next level. Okay. Now, before we do that, I do want to give a shout out to a doctor who left us an amazing review. And she said, or he said, love this, okay, and left 5 beautiful stars right there and said, Dr. Una's podcasts are consistently spot on, real, and practical. This podcast is one of my staples for my drives. I get to drive with this person every single day. It's so amazing. So thank you so much for that review. I truly appreciate it. This podcast has done so well and has reached to so many people. It's been so helpful. And it's because you listen consistently. It's because you do the work and you take action. And it's because you share it and share it and share it. I really, really appreciate it. If you're on here and you're like, I truly love this podcast, but you haven't had a moment to leave us a review, if you can take a moment and do that right now, that would be so helpful. So take a moment to review, take a moment to share it. You guys know I talk about it all the time, that my BHAG, my big, hairy, audacious goal is to help 80,000 doctors build profitable businesses. I believe that most of us got into medicine because we wanted to help, and I want to help doctors help. The system we help in now is a little broken, and we're needing to learn other skills in order to still accomplish our dreams. And I think business skills, that's the missing link, so help me share. And I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. All right. So let's get into the episode for today. 5 powerful lessons I learned from hosting EntreMD Live. All right. So this is going to have a lot of stories in it. You're going to have so much fun. You're going to laugh at me. Going to be amazing. So lesson number 1. Lesson number 1 is say yes. Just say yes. It is never convenient to do what you need to do. Okay. So we had initially scheduled EntreMD Live to happen on June the 13th, a Saturday. It was going to be in Atlanta. It's going to be a lot of fun. People had already registered, and then COVID hit, right? And the big question became to postpone or not to postpone, right? Many events, even really, really large events, had said, forget it. We're not doing it in 2020. We just move it to 2021. And I mean, like, let's look at my situation, right? So I have 4 kids and they could no longer go to school. They had to be homeschooled, right? Because of COVID. I have a private practice, and you all know what happened with private practices. I mean, so many of them had to shut their doors because of how bad the situation was. And so we had to pivot and pivot and pivot like crazy. And I can't wait to share the results of the pivoting with you guys. So it's so cool. And I have data to support it. But that was a lot of work to do that. And my husband and I, if you don't know this, we pastor church and we had to take that online as well. So I had all these moving parts going on. And here's EntreMD Live. So I had every reason to go like, yeah, we'll just skip it. We'll just do it next year. But you know what? I said, yes, we're going to make it virtual and we're going to do it. Okay. We're going to make it virtual. We're going to do it. And I am so glad that I said yes. And in the process of telling you the 4 other powerful lessons I learned, you will see that saying no could have been a huge lost opportunity for me. Okay. I learned so much. I grew so much. I did so many amazing collaborations. I mean, unbelievable. Okay. So we'll get into that. But I said yes. So the first lesson is say yes. Say yes. It may not be convenient. It may not be ideal. It may not be the best time, but there's never a best time. All we have is here and now. Okay. So say yes. The second lesson I learned, this was a lesson in retrospect. Okay. And the lesson was this: take your baby steps. Okay. You know, those baby steps that, like you may not know everything you need to do to make your business work, but you kind of know the next little thing that you can do. Don't despise the little thing. Don't take it for granted. Now you might go like, okay, so what do you mean? So last year was our first EntreMD Live, and I had never hosted an event for doctors before. And I was a little insecure maybe about it because I maybe had never done it before. And it just seemed like nothing. I mean, I didn't have a website at the time that I was deciding to do this event, right? Like this is where I was. This was the phase in my business. But I threw everything I had at EntreMD Live, and we had 47 docs come into the event from 8 different states. 47 docs. And you might go like, what about 47 docs? I mean, it's just 47 docs. No, because I had no event before that. And I had 47 docs, and I launched the Freedom Formula Masterclass, and it was absolutely wonderful. Well, let me tell you what happened at EntreMD Live the following year. So this year we had 321 doctors sign up. And that is huge, right? Like if you calculate it, that was huge. But then it occurred to me, if I hadn't done the 47, I wouldn't have put myself in a position to do the 321. So when you have those opportunities to take what would be considered baby steps and get what may be considered by others to be baby results, take them. Because what it does is it sets the stage for the very next thing that you're going to do. Okay? So take those baby steps. You may not know everything. You may not have everything. Your business may not look like somebody else's business. Take the baby steps, and you can see why I celebrate everything. You should have seen me celebrating these 47 docs. I mean, like, I felt like Tony Robbins filled the stadium. Like the way he felt, that's how I felt. I celebrate my wins, right? My journey is my journey. Your journey is your journey. And I'm going to celebrate every step of my journey. So take the baby steps. All right. So from 47, from 8 states, to 321 from 9 countries. Okay. And the seed for the 321 from 9 countries is found in the 47. And the seed of the 47 is found in taking baby steps. All right. So take baby steps. So number 3, the power of focused, consistent action. Focused, consistent action. Now, anybody who's been in business for any length of time has heard about the shiny object syndrome, like the next shiny thing that we're going to get out. You look on social media, it's like, business is so glamorous and it's all this cool stuff that we get to do and then sit on the beach and, sip margaritas, and then the money just keeps rolling in. The truth of the matter is most times the things that make business work is just the boring things that you stay focused on and you take consistent action on. Okay. So when it came to doing EntreMD Live and filling the room, I kid you not that we focused on getting doctors to come in. And when I say boring, I mean boring like when I would sit with Makita. And if you don't know Makita, she is the other person that makes everything on EntreMD work. And we would literally draw 50 circles on a sheet and we'll start contacting people to tell them about the event, to tell them what they stand to get out of it, because we truly believe in our product, right? So we're telling them what they'll get out of it. Some will say no, some will say, I'll think about it. Some are like, all kinds of stuff. But we stayed at it. So every time that it was time to do our reach outs, we draw 50 circles, we reach out, we cross one off, we reach out, cross one off. And we did it every single time till the event came. Okay. On social media, we showed up consistently, showed up serving our audience, showed up on the podcast, serving our audience. We showed up and showed up and showed up. And it's not exciting. It's the boring stuff. It's like the routines, but there's power in it, right? So because of doing those 50 circles, we were able to fill the room. Because of showing up consistently, we had actually had a lot of people reach out and say, hey, I see this stuff that you're doing. I see this stuff that you're posting. I want to support. I want to help you fill the room. I'm going to go share it to my platform. I'm going to go share it in my membership. It was off the chain. Beautiful off the chain. Beautiful, beautiful off the chain. So when you do that focused, consistent action, it's not exciting. But if you continue, people take notice. If you continue, people are like, they won't go away. I mean, it's almost like the universe is saying, we'll see. If she doesn't go away, then we'll pay attention. It's kind of like that. So in your business, the things that you know you need to do to make your business work, it may seem boring. It may seem like it's the same thing, but you have to do the same thing. Okay. Think like Karate Kid. If you remember the movie from back in the day, wipe on, wipe off, wipe on, wipe off. And he's like, oh my gosh, if you tell me this one more time, right? Just showing him how to wipe in a circular fashion on the car, like wipe on, wipe off. And that was the foundation to make him a karate great, right? Is the focused, consistent action, all right? Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4 was don't let the details be a distraction. So I'll tell you something that happened. I had always planned that I was going to have this green screen and I was going to get this virtual background and all this kind of stuff. And when it was time to set everything up, it didn't quite play out the way I wanted it to. It didn't look the way I wanted it to. And they're like, okay, so we're going to go get this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to change the camera. We're going to do all that. And I'm like, you know what? My commitment is to make sure that everybody that comes in to this event has a great experience, that they get really, really inspired, and that they leave with practical tools they can use to change their lives. I am not going to focus on this green screen and changing everything last minute when I know it can be a huge distraction from what I'm trying to do. So I said, I have a background. It's a pretty background. I'm going to use that and I'm going to focus on the majors and not let the minors be a distraction. Okay. I know my zone of genius and I'm going to deliver in my zone of genius. So sometimes you have, oh, but what if this? What if that? What if that? If it's a minor, leave it as a minor. If it's a major, then fix the major. My major thing was to make sure that the content was on point, the experience was on point, the networking was on point. And they left with practical tools and they left with a way to continue to work with us, right? So I told them, don't worry about it, right? And I used the background that I had and I did an excellent job. And excellent doesn't mean perfect. Excellent means doing the best with what you have. And there was a lot of raving about it. So I know that I accomplished what I set out to do, but I could have let that become a distraction, right? So don't let the minutia become a distraction for you, okay? The other thing I learned is number 5 is don't do it alone. Oh my gosh. So true secret here, or, I'll be honest here. Delegation is not really one of my strong suits. And I think it's because I'm good at a lot of things. And when I think about the amount of time it'll take me to explain what I want done, I'm just like, forget it, I'll do it. But there is so much power in leveraging a team. There is so much power. And for this event, I was surrounded by the most amazing people. So you've heard me talk about Makita. And I mean, Makita did everything I did, short of actually delivering the content, right? And so her help was, I can't imagine how I would have run this event without her. Funny enough, I got a virtual assistant. So Makita's my executive assistant. I got a virtual assistant 3 days before the event. And she was so amazing. I'm going to do a whole episode about finding the right VA. Oh my God. She started working for me 3 days before the event. And I'm thinking, okay, so I'll just onboard you and talk to you after the event. I'm not even dealing with this. And I started working on my slides and I'm like, you know what? I have a VA. What am I doing? So I just had bullet points of all the things that I want. She created every single slide that I used for EntreMD Live. For the pre-event, unlocking a profitable business idea. For the pre-show, remember the doors opened like 20 minutes before the event started. The pre-show, she did all that. For all the sessions, she did everything in record time and just the way I wanted it. I mean, I was like, if this doesn't teach me that I need to work in the context of a team, I have no idea what will. I have no idea. So she was huge. And then I had Dr. Nian, and she helped me create, my whole Kajabi thing. She built out everything, and she was so amazing. She outdid herself. She did an excellent job, and there's no way I could have done the things that she did. So big shout out, Nian. And I had another lady, Ugo, who came to my house and she did all of my social media posting, all of that for the day of the event. So I didn't try to do all this stuff by myself, but because I leveraged the team, I was able to exponentially increase my productivity. It was just so amazing. So if you're here and you're in business and you're trying to do it alone, you need a team, and that requirement will change as your business grows. But you'll need a team and you'll become so much more productive once you can stay in your zone of genius and let your team take care of the rest. So that was huge, huge, huge. But look out for the episode. I am going to talk about how to get a VA on board, how to find a real VA, how to leverage them, and all of that. It's going to be huge. So those are my 5 things. Okay. Now, I want to share some of the wins from EntreMD Live. Okay. So the first I already alluded to is 321 people who registered from 9 countries, which is really huge. Most of the people that came on live stayed on live the entire time. Like even after lunch, I mean, we had lunchtime and everybody we had a break. Everybody went to eat their food, even came back. We had a little like stretching warm-up exercises. I mean, it was really, really cool. So I got to do that. It was so amazing, the impact of it, because I was like, I want this to be impactful. I wasn't doing it to do an event. I was doing it to inspire doctors. I was doing it to empower doctors. I was doing it to show doctors that, listen, like they have shown us the path, like go to medical school, do residency or do a fellowship, and then just go and work until you die. And that's it. But when we went to medical school, that's not why we went. We went because we wanted to help people. We went because we wanted to change the world. We went because we wanted to change industries. And we've been in that box of medical school to residency to work till you retire forever. And it's time to get out of the box. So to watch the faces of doctors literally glow, yes, I can do this. Yes, that's what I want to do. I mean, it was unbelievable to see dreams come alive. And it was amazing. I even got to do some laser coaching live, and to see hangups and limitations and all of that just go away, and people are like, wait a minute, you're right, I can do this. I don't know, that's my high. Okay, so that was so good. And I was still able to pull off an experience because I kept saying, this is not a regular Zoom meeting. You want to show up live. This is not a regular Zoom meeting. This is an actual event. So listen, in the introduction, we had somebody play the violin. She did a solo. We had a whole pre-event show. So we're like, doors open at 9:40 and the event starts at 10. And we had the whole slide thing going with the music in the background. People got their swag boxes in the mail that they didn't even know was coming. There was giveaways. People got Amazon gift cards. There was a success panel where I got to, that was so heartwarming, where I got to feature my clients, right? And we're talking people who are thriving in the midst of a pandemic. I started screaming this from the second that the pandemic started. I was like, we're going to thrive. We're going to thrive. We're going to thrive. And we were in a community where that's all we said. We're going to thrive. We're going to thrive. We're going to thrive. And it was just wonderful to see them talk about it, how they were doing, some in private practice, some cash pay practices. And it was just so amazing to share that story and watch doctors get inspired. Like, wait a minute, you could do that? Like, you did that? It was so good. One of them, Dr. Breedlove, she's a dermatologist, and I really respect, because she reached out to me for coaching in March, like end of March, right like, this was the pandemic at its peak, I would think. And she's like, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to coach and all that stuff. And we started working together, and she does the work. And then so she's like, after we'd been working together for about 2 months, she's like, you're not going to believe this, Dr. Una. I almost hit 3 times my best month. 3 times my best month in May, in the middle of a pandemic. Can you beat that? It was so amazing. Featured the success panel to see, like, we're doctors, we can do this, we can thrive as entrepreneurs as well. And that was just really good to see. And it was just huge. And then I got to launch my baby. Oh my gosh. So I've always dreamt of a community where doctors could learn, and they could be amongst other doctors who are just like them, because entrepreneurship can be lonely. Sometimes it's like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? Like, this is just weird. I remember feeling that quote unquote shame when I started as an entrepreneur. Like, why are you doing this? It was a little bit in private practice, but it's a lot more when I started EntreMD. Like, oh, you're a coach now, stuff like that. So to be in an environment with other crazies like you is absolutely amazing. And to stay inspired, because, the day you didn't feel like posting, somebody else did. The day you didn't feel like doing a video, somebody else did. The day you didn't feel like building your email list, somebody else did. The day you didn't feel like speaking, someone else did. When you come and you're like, I don't think I can do this, 7 other 8, 9, 10 people come on and are like, of course you can. Of course you can. I mean, it's just amazing. And where I could build a system and show doctors step by step, this is what you need to do to build a profitable business. Okay. And so it's EntreMD Business School. And we launched it on that day, which is huge. You can check it out. It's entremd.com/business. A new cohort will start at the end of August, I believe. And, you can sign up for the VIP waiting list. You'll be the first to know, but it's a great place to be. It's a great place to be. I'm so proud of that. And that's what EntreMD Live was like. And those are the lessons that I learned. And I want you to go with those lessons. Okay. So say yes, take your baby steps and own your baby steps and celebrate your baby wins. Take focused, consistent action. Business is boring, but it's fine. And don't do it alone, and don't let the details be a distraction. I mean, just don't. Okay. So I hope this inspired you. My husband has a quote. He says, if you don't start from where you are, you will stay where you are. Okay. So I know you don't want to stay where you are. So I want you to start from where you are. And those steps you've been meaning to take, I want you to stop procrastinating. I want you to take them. I want you to start taking them today. Okay. Now, one of the fastest ways of learning is teaching. So I want you to take the biggest takeaway you have from this episode, and I want you to post it to your social media platform. Like, this is what I learned from the EntreMD podcast today, and this is what I'm committing to do. Okay. And throw it out there. The first time I started doing weekly Facebook Lives, I was like, I don't think I'm going to do that. And I just turned on the camera. I went on my practice page. I said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm starting the wellness show with Dr. Una, the Legacy Parent show with Dr. Una next week. And I'll be on every Thursday by 1:00. And, I put it out there. My patients were waiting. So now I had to do it, So go put it out there and go commit and take the action. And I cannot wait to hear your success story. I want to be able to feature your story at the next EntreMD Live. I want to hear of the stuff that you are doing. And I would love to see in the EntreMD Business School, because this is where we take all these things, you hear about from the podcast and all of this, and we implement them to get results. Okay. So thank you so much for listening again. And I want to see your posts on social media. Just tag me, #EntreMD, and I will see you on the very next episode. And I look forward to hearing about your success. If you love this podcast, please take a moment to subscribe, share, and review it on iTunes. As you go about your week, remember, you're not just an MD, you're an EntreMD. Don't forget to tune in next week for another great episode. Until next time.